Time for our All Sports Western New York High School Football Top 10. Large School Jamestown continues to roll. They're undefeated. They're number 1, followed by also undefeated Sweet Home, Canisius, St. Joe's, OP, South Park, McKinley, West Seneca East, Kenmore West, and Frontier, who were here in our audience last night for the Fred Jackson Show. Small School Alden still unbeaten, followed by Cleve Hill, Depew, Randolph, Cheektowaga with a big win over the past weekend. Fredonia, Burgard, Maple Grove, St. Mary's, and Pioneer round out our high school football top 10. Hey, calling all Western New York high school football coaches, if you'd like your team to be part of the Fred Jackson Show here at the WBBZ-TV studio, give us a call at 716-929-9084 or email us at info@wbbz.tv. Back in the studio here with Bud Bailey. We were talking about the book today in Buffalo sports history, and Bud, you've been around obviously a long time covering the team, and you worked for the Buffalo Sabres
for 6 years.
For 6 years. So your opinion on the start that the Sabres have had so far?
Starts are always funny because we don't have any basis for comparison on the current season. So when you start off 0-4-1 or whatever it's up to now, it sounds awful. Nick McCarchick, the Canisius coach. Yeah, 0-6-1. You're right. Yeah, should have read my own standings on the paper today. Nick McCarchick once told me when he was coaching at Canisius, when you're trailing 10-0, it sounds a lot worse than 50-40 because you have a little success to draw on. But when it's 10-0, it's like nothing I've done is working, but you're still only 10 points down, and it's still only October. That said, they got rid of quite a few veterans over the last few years, and they're inexperienced, and you never know how things are going to come together. So is there a reason for concern? Oh, absolutely. You just have to wait a while and see what happens. I would suspect that if things don't start turning around fairly soon, you're going to start seeing the first step is the Rochester to Buffalo shuttle. See if guys down there can come up and give a spark of some sort, and then you're obviously talking about trades at some point and maybe even more desperate measures.
Well, it was well chronicled at the end of last year that, at that infamous news conference, Darcy Regier said fans should prepare to suffer because we're going through this youth moment, but I don't believe they actually thought that it would be this bad. 0-6-1, and if they lose tonight, Tuesday night, they tie a franchise record.
Yeah, and only 7 goals, which is the bad part. I mean, there's a player in the NHL that has 7 goals in 5 games, and he's outscored the entire Sabre team in that sense. So everybody's agonizing, and the start of a season always comes with such high hopes. Everybody's 0-0, and you don't know what's going to happen. And to start this way is demoralizing. But I think in 1990 or 91, the Sabres started off 0-4-3 when I was working there, and the whole front office was just, but they made the playoffs that year. They didn't do much, but they got back to 500 eventually, and it's just such a difficult time for everyone when you start off this way.
Just so hard to believe that when Terry Pegula came to town and said that money was no option, that they could be this bad.
It's, I guess, a sign that money is not a cure-all for everything, that sometimes you got to be lucky, sometimes you got to be smart, sometimes all of the above. There's a lot of factors that go into a winning sports team, and we've seen them in both directions. We've had a Bills team that hasn't made the playoffs in 13 years for all sorts of reasons, and we had that era 20, 25 years ago where everything went right under the Kelly, Thomas, Smith, Bennett years.
Right. Well, Bud, it's been great having you on the show. We want to show your book again. I want to plug Today in Buffalo Sports History. Let's take a look at that again, Dave. And you can buy this at all fine bookstores. Look for it online. It's great if you're a Buffalo sports fan and you want to kind of not just do some great reading, but also research maybe what happened when. Bud, terrific job, and all the best to you.
Bob, I appreciate you having me on. It's been great.
You're more than welcome. We'll be back. Wrap up all sports right after this.